gem from MM. Mickey about to drop a gem. 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 Here comes a gem. Here comes a gem. Here comes a gem from MM. Mickey about to drop a gem. Mickey about to drop a gem. Mickey about to drop a gem. Okay, now listen up.
What's up, guys? It's Mickey, and welcome back to another episode of Blank Canvas. All right. How is my BK fam feeling? I hope amazing, excellent, swell. And if you're not, I hope your day gets a little bit better. Or actually, not even a little bit. I hope your day and your week gets a lot better. Because life be lifing sometimes, okay? So thank you for taking time out of your day, especially if it's a rough one, to listen to little old me. All right, so let's jump into this week's episode. At first, I felt so uninspired and didn't know what I wanted to speak on. And I was like, do I skip this week? Blah, blah, blah. Y'all have heard this analogy before. Because again, I don't just want to I went through, I think, a full solid year. So I don't know if I count that as my second year or whatever. But when I really got on the full swing of putting episodes out week after week, I was committed to, okay, there are a lot of episodes. They come out weekly. That's literally, it doesn't seem like it's that bad. It's like it's one episode a week, but that's a taxing job. And then depending on what you talk about and all those things, depending on if you have a host to bounce off of and all the things. And it's only so many things to talk about, okay, that we haven't already discussed. Or even if it's like me reading scripture, maybe I got to download a new way and maybe I haven't. So it's only so many things, right? However, God is so intentional, and I'll be trying to be intentional about the content that you guys have to receive so I don't waste y'all time, right? And then there are also times where I'm just like, I just don't feel like speaking. I just don't feel like talking. I'm not gonna lie, like, there are so many podcasts and everything. Like, I'd be sick of, even though I love BK. I love doing it, and I don't love it every day, but I love when I get a download to hopefully share it with you guys and being helpful and informative. It's not, every day doesn't feel great to get up and do it. So I try to be transparent with that. So if you are walking in your purpose and your calling, you don't think that this is supposed to feel great every day. I mean, we're human. Feelings fluctuate. It's not going to, but it doesn't mean that you're not on the path you're supposed to be on. And we discussed that in another episode. But here we are. And I did Bible study last night through Pastor Darius Daniels, Change Church. It's every Wednesday. And they call it Thrive now. But we talked about, they had a really good one. What was it called? I forgot what it was titled, but it was basically like learning how to, let's see what it was called. It was called The Power of Selective Silence. And I knew from the title alone I was going to love it, because I always feel like a lot of times we can overshare. I'm always torn in between oversharing and the power of vulnerability, but I'm also like a really private person. So I hold stuff in more than I let out. And honestly, the most vulnerable that I probably have been, besides like people with my inner circle, is on BK. And that's crazy. This is when every time I think about it. However, I would like to believe that it's more helpful for people to show their full human aspect and not just like highlight reels or talk about just the good things or whatever. Talk about how you feel sad, talk about depression, talk about anger, or talk about jealousy, envy, all these things, or resentment, all these different feelings that we have. They're just the different dynamics of life. But the Bible study was really good and really powerful. And it actually was answering questions that I had about a whole nother situation that I was talking to God about that day. Crazy thing is I was intentionally choosing to be reflective, and I was looking to God for answers. And I couldn't really, I didn't know what to look for. So I didn't know exactly what passage in the Bible to read, which chapter in the Bible to read. But I didn't even feel like reading my Bible. I just felt like talking to Jesus and being in his presence, not being overstimulated with the outside world or social media or everything, because then I'll start seeing other people's opinions. And, you know, sometimes that stuff can download into you. Even if you're like a person like, I only go off of what I feel, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff can trickle down into you eventually or at some point, even if it's not consistently the whole time. So we always have to be careful with that. So I want it to be intentional about whatever, having my heart and my mind in a position, in a place quiet enough and still enough to be able to hear him about something that I was seeking his guidance on. And I went through practically the whole day. I didn't get to the Bible study until late that night. And when I was getting the download, I was like, whoa, he's answering me. They were talking about something slightly different, but God was answering me in a way that I needed to be answered. So let's jump into it. I have discussed before in the past the difference between when you hold on to certain relationships and when you let them go. Who's a person worth fighting for, who's not? I struggle with that. Short version, if you're new here, I never really have a problem with giving up on people, and that sounds terrible. It is terrible, but I do it out of like a defense mechanism, because I have had situations where I have stayed too long. I have watched, in my opinion, other situations where I felt like, okay, stayed too long, and everybody pays the consequences, right? From all sides. I've seen situations where it's just harmful to everybody involved. There are no winners in staying too long sometime. And so I have to work on with God, I would say on a daily basis, of how do you know this is a person worth keeping in your life? And this applies to family dynamics. This applies to friendships. If you need to end business relationships, of course it can apply romantic too. But I'm just saying, like, this can be a sibling, this can be a parent, this can be a cousin, right? This could be a spouse, unfortunately. Like, it happens. And so what are the relationships to hold on to and what are not? So they were, again, that was titled the Power of Selective Silence. So they were teaching off of a scripture of Proverbs. And basically the one, let's see, I think I took a picture of it. Give me 1 second, guys. It was of Proverbs 28, verse 4-5. And this is the NIV translation. Verse 4 says, "Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him." And then verse 5 says, "Answer a fool according to his folly, or he will be wise in his own eyes." And they basically broke down how both apply, but how both also kind of contradict themselves, like right after the other, in different scenarios. So Proverbs, I'm not going to say it exactly the way PD said it, but Proverbs is basically, it's not like law. Like, it wasn't like in the 10 Commandments like Moses did, but it was more so like different, I would say, Mickey gems, right? Different gems of wisdom that you have to be able to discern of when this should apply and when this should not. Like, it's not completely black and white. Like, you have to do this and it will turn out this way, right? It's not that. It's more like, these are good things to know. Like, green means go, red means stop, but you need to know when to apply it. Sometimes you need to go, right? Sometimes you need to stop. Sometimes you need to be silent when speaking to certain people, especially if they're just trying to get you out of character or they are very hell-bent on misunderstanding you. And sometimes ignorance is bliss. The reason we're having a disagreement is because we don't understand where each other are coming from, kind of thing. So that's basically what that scripture is talking about. And Proverbs is full of that. Like, there are so many different examples that are not even just about arguing with a fool. Proverbs has a whole bunch of gems, and you just have to have the wisdom and the discernment of when should it apply and how should it apply to a certain situation. I hope I explained that correctly. So back to my notes. With that example, and what made me think about when to stay, when not to stay, who to fight for, who not to fight for, it made me think about that again, because again, they were talking about the power of silence. But I felt like it could apply, this could be helpful. I don't think it's going to give you all your answers, but I think it can be helpful when you decide on fighting for a relationship or for not, right? You can add this to the toolbox. And so starting off with the example of the difference between Judas and Peter, right? For those who are new to the faith or who know nothing about it at all, I'll give you a quick backstrap. Judas is the one. There are 2 Judases in the Bible, but the Judas who betrayed Jesus, he was the one who turned him in for a little bit of change. I don't know how much money it was back in the day, but it seemed like a little bit. But of course, we needed Judas to betray Jesus so we can all be where we are today. So even though he's an op in our eyes, it was an op that was necessary. It's kind of like when you go through trials and tribulation in life and you're like, even though I didn't like that situation, I wouldn't be who I am today without that situation, right? I wouldn't know, or I wouldn't be who I am or be able to give the compassion I can because there are situations where people didn't give it to me. I wouldn't know how to not judge homeless people or people who struggle because I know what the struggle is like, right? So things of that nature. That's kind of what Judas was, and so many other things, but yeah. And Peter was a rider. Peter really rode for Jesus, right? But then Jesus looked at Peter and was like, you'll deny me 3 times. Like, when all this starts taking place after Judas betrays me and stuff, you'll deny me. You ain't gonna claim you know me. You ain't gonna rock with me, right? Temporarily, like deep in his heart, he still rocked with Jesus, but out of fear of being snatched up and killed, possibly, or jailed too. I don't know that man. In the words of Keke Palmer, sorry to this man. Literally, that's the type of time Peter was on. And I think PD said it perfectly. Like, to understand the difference between your Judas and your Peter, you can kind of simply break it down to this. Judas had a bad heart, right? Like, his intentions were evil. His motives, like, he walked with Jesus, he knew Jesus, and he still was ready to betray him. And betray him in a way that he knew would cost him his life. Judas had a bad heart. Peter had a bad day, right? Did he deny knowing Jesus in that moment out of fear? Yes. Is it okay? No. But at the same time, was Peter back on the right side in the end? Yes. Yes. Was Peter a true rider for Jesus? Yes. So you have to look at people in your life or the relationships that you're trying to fight for, right? Or determine, is it time to let them go? Because this is something that I realize a lot of human beings struggle with. Some stuff is seasonal, y'all. Even if it's good, some stuff is seasonal. Like, we had a great time. It is now time for us to part ways because we're going apart. There have been relationships in my life that did not end badly. We just grew apart, and we grew apart because we were literally going in 2 complete different directions in life. I wish them well. I would hope they wish me well. And yeah. And then there are some situations where it was very easy to do because it's like, yeah, we have to, right? So sometimes it's a struggle to figure out. That's why I included, like, even if it feels right, like, some stuff is seasonal. But you need to go to God and ask, is this seasonal or is this a lifetime thing? Because then, not only, I can't speak for y'all, but then if I know if it's seasonal, it makes it a little easier for me personally to let go. But if I feel like it's a lifetime thing, then it gives me motivation to fight a little harder. It gives me a little motivation to be like, okay, this isn't ending, so I have to figure out what works best for both of us. Not just my selfish needs. What works best for both of us? What does this person need from me in order for this relationship to be sustained? And again, this is not just romantic. This can be friendships. This can be different family relationships. This can be a business partner. Maybe we don't see eye to eye and this transaction needs to end. This is seasonal here. Or maybe we disagree on how to get, that's so rude to be making all that noise right now. I'm literally trying to record. Or maybe we disagree on, how we should get there, but we still care about the same end result, right? So think of it as that nature. So remember, Judas had a bad heart. Peter had a bad day. Okay? And then, so 1, you get rid of. 1, you take the time to work through the nuances of life. Does that make sense? I hope I'm explaining that clear enough. And the way that you can tell is you can know a person by their fruit. Remember, fruit of the Spirit isn't plural. It's one fruit that does many things. I love the way, Pastor Michael from Rock City in Birmingham described it. He described it just like that. It's just one fruit, but it does many things. What a blessing that is. And for those, I don't want to assume we all know what the fruit of the Spirit are, so let me just tell you really quickly. Fruit of the Spirit produce love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Okay, one more time. So this is what this person, this thing, you will know a person by the fruit that they bear, right? You know if something is bold or something is good. Again, it will produce love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Now, the reason that you have to remember that is because those all sound like positive qualities. So if somebody's not producing that, sometimes you'd be like, oh, no, you got to go, right? No, they may be Peter having a bad day. So their fruit don't taste as sweet right now, right? A little piece of it. It's like, I'm trying to think. You know how you like bite into a piece of fruit and it's like, ew, that didn't taste like I like. Or there's one grape in here. There's one strawberry that's spoiled, but the rest of the pack is fine. Kind of think of it like that, y'all. Like, oh, you taste a little bitter today. But overall, you're a good fruit. You have good benefits, right? And not benefits. It's probably not the right way to say it, because then people will think it needs to be materialistic or you need to just benefit me. No, not selfishly like that, but literally, if it produced those things, you're good to go. If they produce those things more often than not, you're good to go. Peter's having a bad day. You give grace for Peter, right? Because we're all Peter sometime. We're all like, I don't know you. I don't want to do this. I'm exhausted, blah, 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 so forth and so on. I also realize, and I'll get back to, let's put a pin in that right there. Let me add a little personal touch to this. So in relation to deciding on which relationships to keep and to not keep, I also realized that because of past experiences, and like I said, I'm still having to work on this, because if you go back and listen to past episodes, some people probably thinking like, dang girl, you still haven't figured it out, or dang girl, you still struggle with this and you follow God. Hello. Welcome to the journey of following Christ. You pick up your cross and it's a daily renewing of the mind, a daily renewing of the spirit, a daily walk. Nobody ever said it'd be easy. Nobody said you want to slip up. It's just get back up again. Get back up again. So I realized that some of my past experiences started giving me black and white thinking in certain areas, when I literally have said from the rooftop so many times how black and white thinking can be harmful. We can have hard red lines like, listen, it works for you, it doesn't work for me. This is my boundary. This is my hard red line. This is a deal breaker for me. We can have those personally, but we can't apply that to everybody else in every situation all the time, because life has too many gray areas. And I was sitting there listening to this Bible study, and God was just speaking to me and answering so many questions. I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't even realize how much of a black and white thinking I had developed to a certain situation. Like, it has to be this, and if it doesn't show up this way and look like this way, then this is bad. It's like I was so hell bent on looking for, do I stay or do I go, that I was developing a mindset that was causing more harm than good. I didn't even realize it had gotten so black and white, because I knew I knew how unrealistic and bad black and white thinking can be most times. Like, people are gray. The world is gray. Life has nuances. It's just, it is what it is. So having that mindset, again, was doing more harm than good. And it's like, I didn't even realize it. Like, I realized, okay, shutting down, I was working on that. Okay, not communicating, I was working on that. Or jumping to conclusions and not communicating, I was working on that. God was revealing to me, and you got to work on how this has turned into a black and white thinking, because I was seeking an answer so desperately that I literally formed another harmful pattern for myself that was keeping me further away from the truth that I was desperately searching for. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy, right? Yeah. Mind blown, mic drop. I don't think I have a bomb on here. No, I just look. They don't have a bomb. Can we add some more effects? My hosting platform, can we add some more effects? I need a bomb. I need a mic drop. I need a boom. Because that was just a revelation that I had in real time. And I love the way I described that. And I should have wrote that down, because that was a gem. That was a gem. So back to the notes, right? And some other tips and tricks of how you know, like, this is Peter, this is Judas, or what's an assessment, what's not. They also were making sure they broke down how the difference between assessing and judging. We're not called to judge, but we do have to inspect the fruit or assess it, right? How are we supposed to know if it's spoiled, or how are we supposed to see the mold if we don't look at it? And there is a difference between judging it, And so they broke it down in a really simple and clear format that I think will be helpful. So are we ready? And I'll try to say it slow enough if you are taking notes. And if I say it too fast, just pause, rewind is there. All right, y'all ready? So assessment is it observes behavior or fruit. Judgment is it condemns the person's heart, right? So I just kind of put assessment for the first one equals the definition I just said. Assessment equals observes behavior or fruit. Judgment equals condemns the person's heart. And then to speed it along, I did A and J. But I would write out the word the first time just so you remember. That's just my little tip on taking notes. Y'all didn't ask for it, but there you go. So next one. A, and when I say A, remember it equals assessment. When I'm saying J, it's judgment. So A identifies patterns. J assigns motives. Okay? Next set. A equals this is what I see. J equals this is who you are. And I want to pause right here and add a little personal sprinkle touch. When I was examining, and I think you can hear in my dialogue in past episodes, my main thing of, oh, do I stay or do I go? How do I work on this? How do I not? Is I was trying to see, is this like a human thing that you give grace for and that can be changed? Or is this who your character is, right? And I would apply that to anybody, including myself. Like, is this something I can work on? Or is this who I am at my core? And I need to do some real, like, not just soul searching, but real work with God. Because God can change anybody. God can literally change anybody. But we have to have the ability and the, when I say the ability, we have to have the want and desire to change. Right? And we have to really go to Him and seek Him to have that proper heart reconstruction. It's not that it's not possible. It's just that we all don't always want to. So there is a difference. We can say, hey, I see this pattern. That's an assessment. Versus condemning the person's heart. You're a terrible, wretched person. And this is who you are. It's almost like ignoring the fact of their effort and their trying. Ignoring the things that they get right. And it kind of goes back to, is this Judas with a bad heart, or is this Peter with a bad day? Okay? And the reason that is we're not called to judge is because the Bible warns against judgment. The reason that God does that is because we don't know enough. We don't know enough about a person's experience, what they're going through that day, that week, what they've been through in the past. We don't have enough insight. We don't have enough insight to their experiences. We don't have enough insight to their trauma. And I loved when PD said this. He said, and you don't know if you would have been like them if you went through what they went through. Period. It's so easy to judge somebody and be like, you're terrible because of this, and this. However, what version of you would we see if you had to walk through the same trials and tribulations that they did? And vice versa, right? What version would people see? What version would other people be if they walked through the same trials and tribulations that we did? Kind of goes back to what we kind of want here at BK. A little clarity, a little understanding, to love each other better, understand each other a little more. Every human being wants to be loved, seen, and heard. And understood. Not just heard, but understood. We all want that. We all desire that. That's why we become defensive sometimes. That's why we fight so hard for it. It's like, no, I really mean this. Or I'm telling you, I may have said it wrong. I may have acted out wrong, but please see my heart. Please see my heart. Right? And that's why you got to know, does this, again, I'm going to keep referencing Judas versus Peter. Does that person have a bad heart? Or is it a bad day? Let's keep going. Next thing I have in my notes, it talks about the different types of fools. And so there's like the fools that you can give, because I think, what was that? I don't have it pulled up right now, but I think it was in verse 5 that it was like some you can talk to, because ignorance is literally bliss, right? There are some things you're acting this way or speaking this way because you have no idea. And we have to give people a room to change their minds. There have been ideas that I've had in the past, and once I learned more information about it, I was like, oh, okay. Okay, not that bad. Not that bad. I understand where you're coming from now. Oh, that's not the way that works? Well, I thought it was the way it worked. Ignorance is bliss. The president doesn't have that much power? Oh, Congress has to approve that? Oh, okay, that's fine. Like, you learn more, you do better, right? Simple as that. But I want to say obstinate so bad, but I think it's obstinate. An obstinate fool is something a little different. That's who you have to give them back to God. You should give everybody to God anyways, including people that you love. Give them to God, because we're all borrowed people on borrowed time, and God will teach us how to love them correctly and steward them. But the obstinate fool is slightly different, right? That's somebody, we're all called to love and serve each other, right? But everybody doesn't have to have the same level of access to us. And that's what people get confused. You can love them and treat them well. Jesus washed Judas' feet, and he knew that Judas would betray him. However, Judas went in the inside circle. And Judas didn't know about every single plan, so he can be ready to plot against them. That wasn't happening. So let's talk about some of the qualities of the obstinate fool, and one that's like, okay, you just got to you got to pray for their heart with God and be like, God, just work on their heart and see if they have the will and capacity or the desire to even change. Let's go through these. So the obstinate fool is committed to their ignorance. They do not want to learn. You cannot want it more. You can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. They do not want to learn. The next one, closed to correction. They reject the wisdom when it's offered. I have met people like this. You could tell them, 10 other people could tell them, and they're still going to tell you, you're wrong, I'm right, so be it. Okay. There's sometimes I just be like, okay, you got it. Next. This was a good point. This was what Pastor Dudley had said, I think. And he said, sometimes when we pray for the blessings, God will send it in the form of correction. So sometimes you may be like, God, elevate my life, elevate this relationship. God, fix this marriage, fix this relationship between mother-child, father-son, vice versa, mother-son, father-daughter, all the things, siblings, cousins, business, friendship. Please fix this dynamic. And they send it in the form of correction. And I can attest to that. There have been sometimes I'm like, God, will you fix this? Will you bless us? Will you do this? And he's like, oh, okay, bet. This is where you are wrong and where you need to do and what you need to work on. And then you will see the fruit in that relationship after you get your fruit right in your heart. We got work to do. And it's like, oh, I got work to do. So it's not just, you just gonna bless it. Well, I mean, you want it to be blessed properly, right? You got to do the work. Y'all got to have your hearts right, because you won't even be able to begin to apply certain things that need to be applied if you ain't got your heart right. All right. So be careful with that. Let me repeat that quote that he said. Sometimes when we pray for blessings from God, he will send it in the form of correction. God loves us. God loves those who he disciplines. Everything isn't a beat down. Everything isn't a harsh discipline. It's not. God can discipline in love, and it can still correct you so sharply and so strong. You be like, he didn't have to curse you out. He didn't have to hit you. None of that. It's just like, oh, okay. I felt that. I need to work on that, God. Oh, okay. This is where I'm lacking. Okay. I see that. I felt that, God. Oh, I didn't like the way that made me feel. I didn't like the way I made the other person feel. Okay. I see you, God. I see that. Let's work on that. Right? And then PD then after that reminded us, this is why so many people could not receive Jesus. I think people forget, and those who haven't read that part of the story, like, Jesus is so widely accepted now. And of course, not everybody does, but he's way more widely accepted than I feel like he probably was back then. There were so many people doubting him. There were so many people doubting his disciples. I feel like people spent more time in the Bible trying to prove that it was not him and that he was not the Messiah than they do to actually accept the word. And I wonder how much more could have been accomplished. And he accomplished everything he was, said to do. But I wonder how much more could have been done in the average everyday person's life who got to be around when he was around, if they weren't so busy trying to prove he wasn't who he said he was. Right? So remember, many people can accept Jesus. They thought he was a carpenter's son. I like the way PD said it. He said they kept waiting on a Messiah to show up because he came in a form they didn't expect. Even to this day, some people don't believe Jesus was the one. And I have no judgment to those people or those religions. We all believe how we believe, right? But even to this day, some people don't. They're still waiting on the Messiah. The Messiah has come. When he come back this second time, we're done. We're done on this earth. We're done. We're going home. We are going home. This is temporary. This is temporary. That's why I would encourage everybody. Yes, live your life and have fun, but please never forget, we don't know the day or the hour when we're returning. We also don't know the day when he's calling us home. He may call us home before he return. He may return. He'll return right now if he wanted to in this very moment while I'm recording this. And imagine not believing in him. Imagine not having the right heart posture. That's why he always says, stay ready. In the words of like regular human language, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. That's basically what he tells us. Because he gonna come like a thief in the night. That's why when everybody was like freaking out of the rapture, I'm like, oh, brother, we got to read our Bibles. We got to read our Bibles. And even if you don't believe in that, pray to that man. I promise you, he gave us a little bit of insight to what it may look like, but that's still nothing. There have been plenty of times in the Bible where they be like, this is what Jesus showed me, and I know it's still only a glimpse of what's to come. That man is coming like a thief in the night. We won't know until it's happening. And by then, it's too late. So please, if you don't take away nothing from this episode, if you truly want it, because he's a gentleman. He doesn't force you. And that's what I love about Jesus. He does not force you. If you truly want it, now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. If the door is cracked open a little bit, now is the time. Accept Jesus in your heart. Now is the time. Now is the time to build a relationship with him. It don't have to be all big and extravagant. You can simply say, Jesus, I want a relationship with you. I need you. I'm not perfect, but I'm ready. Ooh, do you know heaven is going to be turned? You know, every single time a life is saved, or every single time somebody literally gives their life over to Christ to exchange for the new one, do you know a party is like thrown in heaven every single time? Like they turn up. It's not just like, oh, clap, clap, snap, snap. No, like it's a party for every single person. Because remember, this isn't just a battle about everyday life. You're fighting a battle in the spiritual world too. You are a spirit. This body will decay. There is life after this. Some don't believe that, and that's all right. I'm telling y'all, there is life after this. So they're excited. They're turned up for you. If there's any inch of a window, any inkling of a feeling, now is the time. Now is the time. Because even if Jesus don't come back, you don't know if you're going to live to see the next day. You don't know if you're going to live to see the next hour. Now is the time to accept him in your heart. It don't have to be no fancy prayer. Just say, Jesus, I'm ready. Because he's not going to force you. He's a gentleman. Oh, and it's not just the people in heaven. It's not just the angels in heaven either. Like, he is going to be so excited that another one of his babies want to return to him. Oh, remember, Jesus died on a maybe. Maybe that we choose him. He's going to be turned. I'm going to be turned for you. I'm going to be turned for you. And I also want you to remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just got to be willing. You don't have to be perfect. We fall every day. I tell y'all all the time. I fall all the time. I read my Bible. I have an intimate relationship. I still desire more wisdom and more intimacy with him. And I still fall. I still struggle with different things, which is why I share the vulnerable side, even though I don't really like to share it all the time. I share it so people don't think they have to be perfect. Like, Jesus is just a gentleman and he's waiting When I tell you there are so many qualities and things about Jesus that I love, I could go on and on and on. So I just want to say, you don't have to be perfect. But if there's any, like, even a little nudge, the door is peeked open just a tiny bit, now is the time. Now is the time. Accept him into your heart and just tell him, like, hey, I love you, God. I don't even know how to pray. Prayer is nothing but talking to him. It's a conversation. It don't have to be all formal and stuff. Jesus will meet you where you are. Like, Jesus, I've been struggling. I may fall again tonight, but I want to accept you into my heart right now. Help me walk this journey. He got you, boo. He got you. Jesus, I'm a man and I'm trying to learn how to lead, not just for a family that I want in the future, but literally lead different areas of my life. So when it is time for a family, or when it is just for me, because I want to know how to lead for myself properly. Yeah. He got you, boo. It's Jesus. I've fallen 10 times, and why would you even care enough for me to get up for the 11th? He wants you to. He don't care if you fall 2,221 times, 2,222 times, get up again. Get up. He got you, boo. Like, it's just that simple. It's hard to believe because we as humans make life more complicated. We as humans make relationships more complicated. But Jesus is such a gentleman. He's such a G, bro. He's just chilling and waiting. Like, I got you, boo. I got you. Whenever you're ready, I got you. You fall, I got you. You still not ready yet, but you're thinking about it. Oh, I'm excited. I got you. I'll support you at whatever step of the journey you are at. I got you, boo. That's Jesus. Oh, that's Jesus. And that warms my heart. All right, moving on. I just wanted to allow that space to happen because I don't know why I felt like I needed to do that, but I did. I wanted you guys to know that literally listening to this episode, you can accept Jesus into your heart. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be in front of an altar. He's with us right now, and he's excited. And for all of you who did accept Jesus into your heart right now, yay! It's a party. It's a party. It's a party. I'm proud of you. But more importantly, Jesus is proud of you. And I want you to remember, you don't have to be perfect on this journey. We all fall, even the best of us. But he got you. He got you, boo. Okay? All right, let's finish up these notes. So, of course, that's why they didn't accept Jesus. We're going back to more qualities of the obstinate fool, which is the one that's like, it's better just not to argue it or try to, because they're hell bound on misunderstanding you. Another quality is defensive and combative. And PD explained how sometimes defensive alone can just be from a place like, hey, this triggered me, I need a little healing. But defensive and combative, like defensive and you trying to fight me, defensive and you trying to harm me, whoa there. I got to give you to Jesus, because this is like, you're doing way too much. This is another layer of you not only not want to understand, but you fighting me. And it just ain't worth it. A person could go in that much to not believe in you, to prove you wrong. You can have it. I don't even have to fight this hard for Jesus to see me. You mere mortal human, you can have it. I promise. I promise. The other quality is proud and self-assured. Pride comes before the fall. We all know that. And then the last one that they listed was hostile towards the truth. Some people, you can tell them the truth all day long and they will literally spit fire to tell you a lie. And will be ready to beat you into the ground over the lie, literally. Or literally try to get other people on their side with the lie. I had to learn that with some people in my life. And I was like, you got it. I can't spend a lifetime trying to prove the truth. You have it. And if you are intentional about trying to paint me in a different light, for everybody who believes that nonsense, they got it. Because the people who are really supposed to support me and rock with me, they will see me for me. They will love me for me. And what a lot of those situations taught me is that, okay, it's not even just the lying, but it was if this situation really did happen in my life, I know how you would react. You wouldn't be supportive. You would go on a smear campaign and put a scarlet letter on. You would try to turn people who should be giving me grace, love, and compassion against me. You're an enemy. You're an op. I will treat you as such. I'm not going to treat you in the way that the world treats enemy and ops. You're welcome for that. You're welcome that I believe in God, because it didn't just spare me, it spared you. Number one, it spared you. Point blank, period. That's just the truth. So I can pray for your heart and keep my respectful boundaries, but you are an op, and I do not have to try to convince myself that you are not. You've shown that, you've proven that, not just to me, but so many other people in my life. You're an op. You're an op. And unfortunately, we have different relationships in life where we have to deal with obstinate fools, and it's like, as bad as you want them to be something that they're not, they have to want it. You cannot want it more than them. It'll never work. It will never work, because they'll never be able to maintain it. Again, that can apply to family dynamics, romantic relationship, spouses. Oof, what happens when it's children, friendships, all the things. This is going to apply to any type of relationship dynamic. And then the final point that they left us with is that when you consistently engage in that type of behavior, it doesn't make you better. Like when you consistently try to change these people into the version you want them to be, or consistently try to prove to these people who are hell-bent on misunderstanding you that my heart is good, I really mean it, I really love you, I'm really here to protect you. You got to let it go. Some people don't care. They are more committed to being on the opposite side of you than they are to work with you, than they are to love you through it. As painful as it is, depending on the relationship, you got to let it go, and you got to give them to God. Because you're sleeping with the enemy at this point. You're working with the enemy at this point. Unfortunately, sometimes you're raising children with the enemy at this point. And are we allowed to be harmful? Nope. But are we allowed to have healthy boundaries and pray for their heart? Yes. Can we change them? Nope. Can we change their heart? Nope. Can we change their thoughts and desires? Nope. Do they have to be willing to do that? Yes. And that's a Jesus job. That ain't us. That's a big God job. That's a God type of job. And we mere humans need to stay in our places. Let God do his part, and we do the parts that he's called us to do. So I'm sorry, guys, if I held you. Oh my God. 42 minutes and 20 seconds. I did not know this episode was this long. I am so sorry. It was important to get out. Okay, so let's wrap it up really quickly. I love you guys. I can't wait to see what we talk about next time. I hope this episode is really helpful. Okay, love you guys. Bye.
But we gon' talk about something on the mental, on the mind, weighing heavy. Society with the levies, kinda deadly. Silent killer, hard to daddy. Most killers had no daddy. Sadly, that's just what it be in my community. We got no unity. Dark skin wanna ruin me. I'm speaking fluently. So just listen. Blank canvas, blank canvas.